What's up, and welcome to a very special bonus episode of Me, You, and Switch 2. My name is Tom Tate. It is Wednesday, August 20th. It is 7:03 a.m. Eastern Time. Yesterday, we got a 45-minute Nintendo Direct for Sakurai's newest game, Kirby Air Riders. This one came out of nowhere. They announced it the day before. If you listen to this podcast, you know that we release on Tuesdays and Fridays. So I wasn't able to share the details of the Direct on yesterday's episode. We also had some great news yesterday, some great Switch 2 game announcements from Gamescom's opening night live. This I'll save for Friday's show. I watched opening night live. It was very, very awesome, super exciting, but I want to have a little bit more to talk about, and I want to keep this episode relatively short. So today, let's just talk Kirby Air Riders. I had said previously, I didn't think that this would be a full game. I thought that maybe this would be kind of a $40 title. We've seen that with Kirby games in the past. A $40 title that had some fun racing mechanics, a handful of tracks, some online functionality, just to incentivize people to keep using Nintendo Switch Online. I actually didn't think that it would make sense to release this as a full game, a very robust game, given that we're getting Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition this year. That'll check the Kirby box for the holiday season. And we already have Mario Kart World on the shelves to check the racing game box this season. But I'm humbly here to admit that I was incredibly wrong. Kirby Air Riders is very packed with content. It'll be priced accordingly at a whopping $69.99 here in the United States. It's already up for pre-orders, and it will release on November 20th, 2025, only on Switch 2. So it is coming this holiday season. It is a racing game or a vehicular action game, however you want to call it. Even Sakurai said in the Direct that is very much like Super Mario Kart World or Mario Kart World. It's early, folks. Haven't had any coffee yet. Here's some highlights from the Direct, which featured Sakurai answering questions and taking us through various gameplay mechanics and game modes. I watched it in chunks, 45 minutes. It's a very long Direct, but I definitely recommend it if you're a fan of this franchise. It is still a racing game. Sakurai even questioned if Nintendo really wanted it, given that they were already releasing Mario Kart in the same year. And they said that they did. You fly around in these air ride machines that auto accelerate, so you don't have to press forward to go forward. You don't have to hold in a button to go forward. Auto acceleration, pretty nice. You can brake, boost, and drift. That's kind of a one-button control. In the original game, you could only select different colored Kirbys as riders, but in this game, they have a lot more characters. So all the characters you can think of, from the Kirby world, Waddle Dee, King Dedede, Meta Knight, Gooey, Knuckle Joe. There's a lot more. I'm unsure what the final number would be. I did see one screen where you could select from, I think it was 16, but we'll see. You can choose your air ride machine. There's different varieties, and that will impact how the game plays. The weight of your character has an impact as well. How much glide you get in the air, how much damage you take. All of this is determined by a combination of items you collect throughout the game, throughout a race, the character that you choose, and your specific air ride machine. You can use the Y button, and this allows you to use abilities that you collect throughout races. In true Kirby fashion, if you're familiar with the franchise, you can copy abilities from enemies throughout the game, unique abilities that you can use throughout the course of a race. There is a game mode called City Trial Mode, which includes races and minigame style challenges. It'll be 16 players online and up to 8 players if you're playing wirelessly through local play. And they spent a lot of time going through City Trial Mode in the Direct. If you want to see more, definitely check it out. This is meant to be really the main events of the game. And it looks great. It looks like a lot of fun. It was fast-paced. It was chaotic. It was everything that I thought this game would be and more. The game featured some awesome music as well, not just the tracks while you're racing, but it included a track with lyrics kind of as the main entry point. We've seen that with Super Smash Brothers, the most recent one. We've seen that with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. We've seen that with Mario and Jump Up Superstar. It seems to be a continued trend. Donkey Kong Bonanza has a track with lyrics. I love it. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that they continue to do it. And they also announced that some of the tracks are available right now in the Nintendo Music app. So if you want to get a sneak preview of the music, you can do that now. So the Direct itself, I thought this was odd. The Direct itself did not show local multiplayer using split screen, which is what I expected. And, we have that with Mario Kart. That kind of alarmed me. This is the type of game that really needs to be played through split screen, couch co-op style. And I did some digging. There was a couple of Reddit conversations about this. Luckily, the official pre-order page confirms 1 to 4 players on a single system, 2 to 8 local wireless, and 1 to 16 online. So 4 players, single system. That's going to be awesome. We also have confirmation on that same page that this will be a 25 gigabyte download. So storage on our Switch 2s are filling up fast. I've yet to pick up a micro SD express card. I was hoping the price would go down. I don't think they're going to go down, so I might have to get one eventually. The game was not developed by Hale Laboratory, who is known for developing most of the recent Kirby games and going all the way back to the original Kirby games and Earthbound and a bunch of earlier NES titles. This game was not developed by that team. It was developed by Bandai Namco Studios and Sora Limited. And I believe Sora Limited is Sakurai's company. So that leads many, including myself, to believe that HAL Laboratory is actively working on the next Kirby game, which would make sense because Forgotten Land is the Switch 2 edition is new, but the game itself is not new. So it is likely that they are working on a follow-up to that game or something new altogether, which is pretty exciting too. There's already previews online for this game, so certain outlets must have gotten their hands on it early. They had a chance to play it. I'll just read the headlines. I'll link to the articles in the show notes if you want to dig deeper and hear kind of the first impressions of the game. Polygon, the headline is Kirby Air Riders goes all in on nostalgic thrills, but will it pay off for Nintendo? Nintendo's defiant GameCube sequel isn't bowing down to the haters anytime soon. I should have said that up front. This is a sequel to a GameCube game. I'm assuming most people know that, and we've covered that before. But yeah, this will be a sequel to a game that came out 20 plus years ago. So yes, it will share a lot of the same DNA and a lot of the same mechanics if you're familiar with the GameCube game. I personally haven't played that game, so maybe it'll show up on Nintendo Switch Online and I can get a sneak preview of the original before I play the new one. Kirby Air Riders, the first preview. Buckle up for the unlikely sequel that has heaps of zany charm. That's the headline and subheadline from IGN. And then on Nintendo Life, preview, Sakurai's Kirby Air Riders is a kaleidoscope adrenaline rush. Watch out, Mario Kart World. So they're even saying that this might be a competitive racer to Mario Kart. So we'll have to see. When I think about this game, there's an old trope in Hollywood, and I've heard this attributed to Scorsese a few times. I don't know who actually came up with this, but one for them, one for me. And it's this idea that you make the thing that the studio wants you to make because it's going to make the studio a lot of money. And in turn, you get the go-ahead, you get permission and funding to go make the thing that you personally want to make. Now, I don't know if that's the case here. I don't know if Sakurai, is making this game almost in between the previous Smash Brothers title and the next Smash Brothers title. One for them, one for me. We'll see, because we know that a Smash Brothers game will make $1 bajillion. But it certainly could be the case here. I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to keeping an eye on this one, but I will tell you at $70, it is not a day one purchase for me. It looks like a ton of fun, as most recent Kirby games are. But for whatever reason, the extra $10, $70 titles, I'm not ragging on $70 games. I think it's a natural evolution in pricing compared to how much games cost to develop these days. But it makes me question which games I'm really going to pick up on day one, that extra $10, because it adds up, because I'm hoping to pick up a few games this holiday season. And this podcast, no sponsors. It's not making a whole lot of money for me, right? I'm just joking. That's it for today. Really appreciate it. This was a bonus episode. We went over 10 minutes. Sometimes the bonus episodes do that. I want to cover the big things. This was a Nintendo Direct. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. A kind rating or review is awesome. Sharing with a friend is even better. You can head over to switch2pod.com. That's switch with the number 2pod.com for all the things. I'll be back on Friday. We have a whole lot to talk about from Gamescom. Much love. Now go play some games.